Massive return at WWE Money in the Bank. Directions for Austin Theory following his recent absence from WWE television. Will Ronda Rousey leave WWE to make UFC return? Seth Rollins reflects on how he met Becky Lynch. Last-minute return to win Money in the Bank. WWE to have massive upset at Money in the Bank. What's LA Knight's connection with the Shield? Solo Sikoa sends a message. Let's jump right into it. Directions for Austin Theory following his recent absence from WWE television. Austin Theory is one of WWE's most cocky and brash superstars. There are very few wrestlers with an ego as big as his. In fact, most don't even come close. He has reason to be so confident, however. The young star has had a fair bit of success in his career. He's a two-time United States champion and a former Mr. Money in the Bank. He's held the United States title for over 200 days now. Despite his success, Austin has been absent in recent weeks, and fans have taken notice. He could be waiting for something to come his way, or there could be some other explanation for his absence, but fans of A-Town's finest are dying to see him back in action. This piece will look at possible directions for the reigning United States champion. Could he possibly lose his title to a returning star? Could Theory form a new stable with a talented duo? Here are 4 directions for Austin Theory following his recent absence from WWE television. Number 4. Carlito could return and win the WWE United States Championship. Rumors have been circulating for a while regarding Carlito's WWE future. He had a brief but incredible return at Backlash 2023 in Puerto Rico, when he helped Bad Bunny and the Latino World Order fight off the Judgment Day. Due to Carlito's thunderous applause from the audience, many expected WWE to sign him to a contract. Weeks went by and nothing came of the epic moment, but it has since been rumored that he has officially signed a new deal with a juggernaut promotion and could return as soon as the Friday after next. If the former United States champion does return to action on Friday after Money in the Bank, he could immediately feud with and dethrone Austin Theory. Carlito won the United States Championship on his first night on the main roster, so it'd be logical to repeat the move upon his comeback. Number 3. Austin Theory and Pretty Deadly could make their alliance official. Pretty Deadly is the hottest new tag team in WWE. While they're not new to World Wrestling Entertainment, they are new to the main roster. The pair have already made a splash too, as they're set to challenge for the unified Raw and SmackDown tag team titles. Since joining WWE's main roster, Elton Prince and Kit Wilson have become friends with Austin Theory. They successfully defeated the Brawling Brutes a few weeks ago on SmackDown as a trio. They have an obvious chemistry thus far, which fans gravitated towards almost instantly. An official stable may form due to the immediate chemistry between the 3 superstars. Instead of Austin Theory and Pretty Deadly, the trio may have an official stable name and attempt to dominate the blue brand as a unit. If nothing else, they'd be the most conceited faction in the company. Number 2. He could feud with a member of the Latino World Order. The Latino World Order is a popular WWE faction. The stable primarily consists of 5 active superstars, including Rey Mysterio, Zelina Vega, Santos Escobar, Cruz del Toro, and Joaquin Wilde. Carlito, Bad Bunny, and Savio Vega appear to be part-time group members. The LWO is getting a push in WWE given their regular screen time. Santos hopes to win the Money in the Bank to continue Rey's legacy, while Zelina hopes to do the same for the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Unfortunately, Santos is unlikely to win his bout. Still, just because he probably won't win the Money in the Bank briefcase doesn't eliminate him from title contention. Instead, he could feud with Austin Theory over the United States Championship. Theory wrestling any of the male members of the LDO could be extremely entertaining, and Santos dethroning him makes a lot of sense too. Number 1. Paul Heyman could recruit Theory. Paul Heyman is one of the most manipulative and sneaky personalities in WWE history. The former ECW CEO and booker often stand beside the most successful villain in pro wrestling, thanks to his devious mind. One of the things that has made Heyman successful has been his ability to adapt and pivot, be it as a manager, commentator, booker, promoter, or writer. The wise man always manages to find a way to succeed in WWE and pro wrestling in general, even if it comes at the cost of others. Given the recent turmoil within the Bloodline, Heyman is likely already sending feelers out among other stars in the company. Paul needs to find someone else to attach himself to if Roman goes down. Who better than the young Austin Theory? They exchanged conversations several times last year, so that move wouldn't be entirely out of the blue. From there, Theory could become a top star in the company. Will Ronda Rousey leave WWE to make UFC return? Ronda Rousey is undoubtedly one of the biggest names to successfully cross over from UFC to WWE. The 36-year-old star has won championships in both promotions. Fans might wonder if the baddest woman on the planet will ever return to her former promotion. Ronda Rousey is unlikely to return to UFC. She retired from mixed martial arts after her loss to Amanda Nunes at UFC 207 in December 2016. The former UFC women's bantamweight champion did say she'd consider an MMA return to fight a fellow former former Strikeforce star. The person in question is Gina Carano. There's only one person I would come back for, Rousey said on an episode of the Kurt Angle Show in 2022. I mean, I've said it a million times. It's not like it's something new. I'd come back for Gina Carano. The two women were heavily rumored to fight each other at one point, but the plans never materialized because of Carano's refusal. The MMA fighter turned Hollywood star told Joe Rogan during an interview that she refused to fight Ronda Rousey due to feeling disrespected by UFC president Dana White. Dana White, said something pretty aggressive over text messages. I'm sure you, Joe Rogan. Nobody does that, and I was just like, yeah, okay, I'm not gonna do that. It was very simple for me, like that was gonna be something for me, and I was excited to be back in that world, and I was excited to do something like that. I respect Ronda, and I thought that it was exciting. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler were the WWE Women's Tag Team Champion, and they squared off against NXT Women's Tag Team Champions Alba Fire and Isla Dawn in a match to unite the titles. The two teams put their respective titles on the line this past Friday on SmackDown. The baddest woman on the planet and the Queen of Spades were victorious in the match. They are expected to be awarded new belts in the future. The champions will put their titles on the line against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez at Money in the Bank 2023 on July 1. What's your take on this story? Let us know in the comments section below. Seth Rollins reflects on how he met Becky Lynch. Seth Rollins has commented on his heartfelt meeting with Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels after his match on WWE NXT. He shared that he would have never met Becky Lynch if it weren't for him. The World Heavyweight Champion recently defended his title against Braun Breaker at NXT Gold Rush. He defeated the latter via pinfall after hitting him with 2 stomps to retain the gold. WB shared a clip of the Visionary and the Heartbreak Kid on Twitter embracing after the bout. Seth Rollins commented on the tweet by stating that Shawn Michaels played an important role in his life. He added that if it wasn't for the WWE Hall of Famer, he would have never become a wrestler and wouldn't have met Becky Lynch or had his daughter Rue. Everybody you meet plays a part in who you are, some more than others. Without Shawn, I never stepped foot in a wrestling ring, probably never meet my wife, never have my kid. Reflecting on this moment, I feel immense gratitude across the board. We're nothing but lucky to be experiencing life, wrote Rollins. The Visionary became the inaugural World Heavyweight Champion at Night of Champions 2023 and has successfully defended it against multiple stars. His next defense will be at Money in the Bank in London, and it's against Finn Balor, who could be his toughest opponent. The Judgment Day member has a personal score to settle with Seth Rollins as he was forced to relinquish his Universal title in 2016 due to an injury he suffered at the hands of the latter. On Raw and NXT, Balor attacked Seth, showing the world what he's capable of. He's defeated Seth Rollins in a world title match before, and it'll be interesting to see whether he could do the same thing on July 1st. Do you think Finn could dethrone Seth? Sound off in the comments below. Last minute return to win Money in the Bank. WBE is holding the Money in the Bank Premium live event this Saturday in London, with many huge moments in store. Fans can even expect some huge surprises at the show. One could come during the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. 7 superstars have been announced, with Logan Paul and LA Knight considered the favorite. However, much like last year, WWE could add an 8th participant to the match, someone more popular than Austin Theory. What if Randy Orton returns in that spot? According to WWE legend Kurt Angle, he has recovered from his back injury and may be set to return soon. The Viper would receive a monstrous pop from the UK fans and likely end up winning the briefcase. It would be a great choice, as Orton was last seen in WWE getting choked out by Roman Reigns. He could be back to his best as he targets the Tribal Chiefs World title. However, as popular as it would be, the 14-time world champion probably won't win Money in the Bank. First off, considering the severity of his back injury, Randy Orton likely wouldn't be a part of such a physically dangerous match. Expect his in-ring return to be a much safer affair. Also, other top stars might return at Money in the Bank instead, with Drew McIntyre and Bray Wyatt rumored to do so. WWE may prefer to spread out these huge moments to make the most of them. Last year's ladder matches came around after Randy Orton was written off WWE television. He and Matt Riddle were attacked by the Bloodline on the May 20 episode of SmackDown, following their defeat to the Usos in a tag team title unification match. Orton was set to challenge Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship at SummerSlam before his injury turned out to be worse than initially thought. He could have made his return at Money in the Bank as well, especially if the Tribal Chiefs match against Riddle wasn't moved to SmackDown instead. However, fans are still waiting for Randy Orton's return 1 year later. Hopefully, that day will come soon. The Viper will provide WWE even more star power than it already has. Who should Randy Orton feud with upon his return? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. WWE to have massive upset at Money in the Bank. WWE is heading into Money in the Bank weekend full steam with only 1 episode each of Raw and SmackDown before the show to change things around. As it turns out, there are reports that there's a massive upset planned at the event. The exact nature of the upset has not been reported, but it has been confirmed by Zero News that it has nothing to do with either Cody Rhodes or LA Knight. Given they are the favorites to win their matches against Dominic Mysterio and in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, respectively, it's presumed those are still potential outcomes. That leaves the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, the World Heavyweight title match between Seth Rollins and Finn Balor, the WWE Women's Tag Team title match between Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler and Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Also, finally, the Bloodline Civil War between Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa and the Usos. Any of these matches could have a massive shocker for fans. At this point, it's difficult to predict which one the report meant. It should be noted that Io Sky has been discussed as the potential winner at WWE Money in the Bank. Whether that has been regarded as the upset is also not clear. What's LA Knight's connection with the Shield? LA Knight used to be roommates with current AEW star Jon Moxley back in the day. Knight is steadily becoming one of the most beloved superstars on the current WWE roster. He gets massive cheers from live crowds on a weekly basis, and fans are clamoring to see him win this year's Money in the Bank briefcase. A throwback picture featuring LA Knight and AEW star Jon Moxley recently resurfaced on social media. The picture is from back in the day when the duo had made it big in the pro wrestling world. Knight and Moxley used to be roommates back then. Back in 2019, Knight spoke with Wrestling Inc. and shared his thoughts on his viral throwback photo with Jon Moxley. The current WWE superstar revealed that he was roommates with Moxley for about 2 years. He then expressed interest in working with Moxley somewhere down the line. We actually lived together. We were roommates for about 1.5 years, 2 years, something like that. We started at the same place. Even Sami Callihan was part of a trio with us. So there's a lot of names that came out of that HUA Cincinnati area. But yeah, it's cool to see that that's a guy I'd like to work with again if we were ever to be on the same marquee. But who knows? Never say never. Jon Moxley left WWE in 2019 and has been a mainstay on AEW TV since then. He has done incredibly well for himself over the years in AEW. Moxley is currently a 3-time AEW World Heavyweight Champion and is one of the most popular acts in the company. Solo Sikoa sends a message. This past Friday on SmackDown, Solo Sikoa made a huge statement amid Roman Reigns' absence from television. Bloodline member Paul Heyman recently took to social media to send a message to the Enforcer. Sikoa was in action against Sheamus in the main event of SmackDown. The match's closing moments saw him put the former WWE champion through a barricade. Heyman, who cornered Sikoa for his match, posted a photo on Instagram and sent a message to the former NXT North American champion. Enforcing the future, Solo, wrote Heyman. Dutch Mantel recently spoke about the epic Bloodline storyline. On Sportskeeda Wrestling's Smack Talk, the veteran manager mentioned numerous possibilities of matches in the storyline. Jay was the latest member of the faction to betray Roman Reigns. At Night of Champions, Jimmy turned his back on the tribal chief. Meanwhile, Mantel said the following about the future direction of the angle. I don't see this ending anytime soon. Now you've got to go back. Who's the leader of the brothers, Jimmy or Jay? Mantel further pitched having Reigns compete in a singles match against either Jimmy or Jay. I think you gotta have some singles matches with Roman. Singles matches with Solo and one of them, the Usos. So they got the next month or so laid out, and it will maintain interest. What I like about this is that they have no stipulation matches. They just talk about each other straight up. There are no DQ matches, no dog collar matches, no cage matches, none of that. At the WWE Money in the Bank Premium Live event, the Usos will team up against the duo of Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa in the Bloodline Civil War Tag Team match. Which team should walk out with the win at Money in the Bank? Sound off in the comments section below. Massive return at WWE Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank is now merely days away, and WWE could be making plans to ensure that it is one of the biggest events of the year. With SummerSlam right around the corner and the Bloodline currently in ruins, it's likely that the winner of the contract will be looking to cash in on Roman Reigns at the biggest party of summer. One match that was set up back at Crown Jewel in 2022 was Jake Paul's Solo Sikoa, something that the company hasn't mentioned since. If Logan Paul is able to win the contract with the help of his brother or even KSI next weekend, then it could lead to this match finally taking place. WB kept the two men away from each other that night for a reason and has built Solo Sikoa like an unbeatable beast ever since he made his debut at Couch at the Castle last year. The thought here is that if Logan Paul wins the MITB contract, he might want to cash it in on Roman Reigns over Seth Rollins, since the two men have already settled their differences and Reigns needed backup in Saudi Arabia in order to come out on top. This time around, Paul could cash in on Reigns and Solo could look to run interference to ensure that his tribal chief retains his title, which is where Jake Paul comes in. The Paul brothers vs Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa could then lead to Jake vs Solo, which could be built up as a main event level PLET match for one of the events that Reigns misses. Do you think Logan Paul will win Money in the Bank and cash in on Roman Reigns at SummerSlam? Share your thoughts in the comments section below.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for